Ladies and gentlemen, old guy coming at you again from Starved Rock Harley Davidson with the 2024 Harley Davidson Lowrider ST. The Lowrider ST has a little bit of differences than the S, obviously. The price, the Lowrider S base model is 20K, 19,999. The Lowrider ST base model is 23,999. So the question is, what are you getting for your 4K? Upper fairing, bags, and slightly different handlebar risers. My whole purpose is to try to just show a first ride, first impressions video, not a dead-on, full deep dive analysis. Maybe one day we'll get there, but right now, the most important thing is more people are riding, so let's get more eyes on motorcycles. I find motorcycling to be one of the most therapeutic things that I can do for my own mental health. And I really want other people to be able to have that too. And if I can help in any way by showing more bikes to more people, more options, then I'm a happy guy. So let's take a little close look at the specs of this bike. Take a look at the engine, wheels, tires, suspension, all that good jazz, and then take this bike out on the road, give it a little ride, and see how it goes. Risers on this are just a little bit taller from what it looks like, and it kind of curves this way to jut out towards the rider a little bit more. So maybe a little bit more comfortable, but that's a personal preference thing. That's a personal feel. These bags, which honestly, these bags are really nice. Easy to remove, and you got some good space. I mean, really do. Again, this bike isn't cheap though. There are a lot of bikes that cost for $24,000, you can get a lot of bike. So the engine, we have a 117 Milwaukee 8. This is, that would be 1991. That'll be 1917 cc, claiming somewhere around 103 brake horsepower. That's crank, 125 foot-pounds of torque. Obviously, wheel power is going to be a lot different. The fit and finish of this with the powder coating, though, just gorgeous, gorgeous. I love Harley Davidson's fit and finish, and honestly, I love riding Harley Davidsons. There's a feel to them. There's a special feel to them that you don't get with other brands, honestly. And I've ridden so many that Harley Davidson has this wonderful feel. And while I appreciate all motorcycles, Harley Davidson has always had a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for Harley. And I want them to survive. And I want more people to take a look at them. Hopefully they'll come out with a bike that's a little bit cheaper at some point to be able to attract more riders. So, get a chance to look at this wonderful wheel. So up front, we have an inverted front suspension, non-adjustable. It is a 110/90/19 front tire. You have it's 300 millimeter discs, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. And 4-piston calipers. So plenty of braking power, steel braided lines, ABS, all that good jazz. The back of the bike is a little shrouded by the bags. That's a 180/70/16 rear tire. This is a single rear shock. I believe that's probably about a 300 millimeter disc in the back. And it looks like it is obviously belt driven. And it looks like it's a 4-piston caliper in the back too. Now, question is, with The fairings, the more upright handlebars, is it going to be more comfortable to ride than the S? I'm not sure if it is going to be or not, honestly. But the only thing we can do is take it on the road and find out. So, let's hit the road on this big boy and see if we can have some fun. I just realized I forgot to mention, this is a 27-inch seat height, same as the Lowrider S. However, this does weigh a little bit more. This is 721 pounds. You know, not that much difference, about 40 pounds. I mean, you are adding in the fairings and bags, so that changes the dynamic. And, well, I'm 5'9", 220 pounds, so I'm still flat-footed. It's, again, it's a Harley, so it's 27-inch seat height, so yeah. I was never worried about not being able to put my foot down. Okay. I mentioned it in the S, and it's the same exact engine, same horsepower, same torque. It's got a really nice torque pull to it. This one, like I said, it does weigh a little bit more than the S, so it's got a little bit more weight to pull. However, it does just fine. And it's just as vibrational in the foot pegs, which I was expecting, because it's basically the same bike. Gets up to speed just fine. It's a big bike. It's a big engine. I mean, we talked about it in the S, and hopefully you watched that video. But the misconception about Harley Davidsons and slow mind boggles me. But also the Harley rider, your normal Harley rider who's never ridden anything else, their conception of Harleys as fast. You know, it's a different kind of power delivery, and you just got to understand that. That's all. They're both great. I mean, sport bikes are great. Big hyper nakeds like that 1390 are great. You know, every bike has a purpose. Every bike has a feeling, and for me, capturing that feeling on different motorcycles is fantastic. The gauge cluster on this is tiny. I mean, super tiny. I mean, speedometer, fuel gauge, gear indicator. It's very easy to hold its line, though. I mean, as far as going slow. So you got your gear indicator right there, very tiny. Second gear. Bike is honestly, this bike feels like it turns in better than the S. It's the same exact bike, same wheelbase, everything, just fairings and bags. But the S felt like I was having to force it into turns. This one does not. I think it has something to do with honestly, it probably has something to do with the fact that the wind is pushing the fairings as well, so it's actually that little extra oomph that you have to push in the S because it doesn't have that. You don't have that on this because the wind is assisting that, so it makes it feel a little bit more nimble. It does have cruise, which is great. I love cruise control. I don't love these intersections, but you know. So set the cruise 60. You can kind of take your hands off even more. Just yeah, super nice. A lot of crosswind today. lot of crosswind. That's the other thing, right? This was the same crosswind I had with the S. The crosswind didn't push the S quite as much because there was less for the wind to hit. So, it's trade-offs. It really is. It's trade-offs. I mean, what kind of riding are you going to be doing? If I'm going to be doing more city and I don't need storage, well, I'll just take the S. But for me, a bike like this, right, I'm going to commute, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm also going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to maybe do a little bit of, you know, kind of go tour a little bit. That fairing is doing a great job of the wind that's coming at me. Can't do shit about the wind that's going this way. It just can't. See, I'm having to lean this way to fight that wind. Oh, man. Oh, what a beautiful time to be alive. Sit back. And stretch my back just a little bit. Not because the bike's uncomfortable. I've ridden 6 bikes today so far. So, just stretch just a little bit. That reach to the handlebar, because of the way that's angled, yeah, it's a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more comfortable. I felt like the S was, it put a little bit of pressure on my back. So, I didn't particularly like that. It was just a little bit of pressure in my lower back that it was that little bit more lean. It was just a tad bit more. So as it stands right now, overall for me, right at this moment, I like the ST a little bit better. I mean, it's $4 more, but I feel like I'm getting something for my $4, and that's, I've never had a problem spending money as long as I'm getting something for my money. This does have a tach. You just have to press that button there so you can see what your RPM gauge is. I kind of like that better than you know, miles and things like that. It's still very small. That 117's got so much torque. Yeah, it was this section on the S where I was like, man, it just doesn't want to, you know, turn in, you know, from side to side. And the ST, that is, it seems to not be the thing, and I think it's because the wind hitting the fairing is actually helping mitigate that additional pressure that you had to push in with the handlebars. This feels, yeah, it feels much more sporty. So one of my complaints was the turning, and this seems to be better than the S, and I like this better than the S for that. The foot peg vibration is, it's there. It's quite substantial. You can feel it in your feet. Handlebars, not so much. Pretty comfortable there. 4th gear, 51. Plenty of power. Plenty of power. So if you're worried about it not having enough power, I highly suggest you try it first before you say that, because it's got plenty. I really do like this over the S. And I really liked the S. The S model was really nice. It's just the the other complaints. This bike addresses the other complaints. I just wish my foot was like right there. Yeah. That's all. just right in position. And I was speaking to the dealership, and it was mentioning to me that's generally the first thing that people change on this bike is move it to forward controls. I mean, so much so that they were even having difficulty getting the forwards. Easy neutral. Extend. And there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Harley Davidson Lowrider ST. Yeah, it's the fairing. It really does help with that turning because the wind is coming in. So as I'm pushing, the wind is helping me push a little bit on that fairing. So it mitigates that additional force that I was having to put in on the S. So that addresses that. Very nice. Very nice. And yeah, I just wish that the controls were about here. Just a little bit more forward. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just a hair. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. I like it a lot. This is a really nice bike. Really nice bike. Alright, everybody. Special thanks to Star Rock Harley Davidson for letting me take this out. Share it with everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And if you would, please like, subscribe, share this video. Let's get more eyeballs on motorcycles. Get more people riding. Everybody stay safe. And as always, enjoy the ride.